আজি আমাৰ নিৰে ষ্টেট কাউন্সিল অফ এডুকেশ্যনেল ৰিচাৰ্চ এণ্ড ট্ৰেইনিং SCERT ৰে আহি কিনে আছে কহিমাৰে আজি এৰে আহাৰ হৈছে গ'লে তাই কানিৰে ফাৰ্ষ্ট এডিশ্যন অফ ECCA ডে এইটো ECCE লগা ডে আজি ফাৰ্ষ্ট এডিশ্যন মানি আছে কিনে আমাৰ জানি পানী মিৰে আহিছে আহিবি আমাৰ যাই কিনে আৰু এইটো ECCE এইটোলা দিন কি নিমিৰে মানি আছে মতলব তো কি আছে এইটো খান না ওপৰে অলপ ভাল জানকাৰী ল'বলৈ নিমিৰে এৰে প্ৰগ্ৰাম দে বহি চাব আৰু এনে হৈ কিনে তাই কান ইয়াৰে ৰিপ্ৰেজেণ্টেটিভছ কান কথা ক'লে থাকিল তো তাই কান গে এইটো সুধি চাব
Ayo wale nawale Puna punu pundo yu Punu pundo yu Puna umawan samsale swali Santo karaurai Santo karaurai Oh I oh Ayo wale nawale, ayo wale nawale, kona hunu termanca, mai po paglengan torai, kembang hai le chong sai ko. Hai lê sông sài cô nào sa phơi ngô đầy
At the same time, as we celebrate ECCE Day, it is important to reflect critically on the realities of implementation. While our policies and framework are thoughtfully designed and aligned with global standards, therefore, thereafter exists a noticeable gap between policy and practices. Some challenges that I can immediately think of and I feel should be acknowledged are number one, infrastructure limitation in many schools, especially in the remote areas, and lack of continuous professional support. There is a need for stronger monitoring and support system to ensure that ECCE guidelines are effectively implemented at grassroots level. Bridging the gap between policy and practice required a collective effort from policymakers, administrators, educators, and the community alike. I would like to see this to my respected fellow teacher trainees. Let us accept this journey with dedication and passion. There is no differences in the potential of children studying in government or private schools. The real differences comes from us, the teacher, through our dedication, our teaching method in our support. We must also utilize the resources that are provided by government judiciously to ensure quality education and better outcomes for every child. I'd like to encourage all of us to strive to turn the vision of ECC Nagaland into a live reality in every classroom and in every community. Thank you all for your kind attention.
In stage education. I warmly welcome our special guest, Vikram Chale, Additional Secretary, Department of School Education, officials from school education, from Samagra Shiksha, Nectar, social welfare, all the dignitaries, friends, and everyone present here this morning. At the outset, let me say, this is not just another program, it is a celebration of childhood itself, a celebration of curiosity, creativity, and the joy of learning that begins in the earliest years of life. When we think of our children, our young children, we are reminded that the smallest feet do indeed leave the deepest footprints, especially in shaping the future of our society. Friends, today's event also reflects a much larger national vision. The National Education Policy 2020 has placed unprecedented emphasis on early childhood care and education. It clearly tells us that the foundation of all future learning is laid in the early years. Building on this, the National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage 2022 and the NCF for School Education 2023 have guided us to reimagine classrooms as joyful, play-based, activity-oriented spaces where children can learn naturally and meaningfully. This is a significant shift from teaching as instruction to teaching as facilitation, from rote learning to experiential learning, and from uniform methods to developmentally appropriate practices. And that is exactly where our work, our work becomes so important. The years between ages 3 to 8 are not just important, they are decisive. This is when language develops, thinking begins to take shape, social and emotional skills are formed, and the child starts making sense of the world. What we provide at this stage determines not only how children learn later, but also how they think, relate, and grow as individuals. Recognizing this, through the 2-year diploma in foundational stage education, has taken on the important responsibility of preparing teachers who can create classrooms that are joyful, inclusive, and responsive to children's needs. But let us be honest, training alone is not enough. The real impact comes when training is translated into practice, and that's why today is so important. This ECCE Day provides a live platform where ideas are not just discussed but demonstrated, where innovation is not spoken about but experienced. As teachers, our role is not just to teach but to continuously reflect, adapt, and grow with our children. Along with joyful learning, we must also pay attention to how children are progressing through simple, continuous, and developmentally appropriate ways of assessment as guided by NCF. Today's event, when we see learning corners, project displays, cultural and skill-based demonstrations, food and nutrition corners, and live classroom practices, we are actually seeing the spirit of NLP 2020 and NCF coming alive. These activities are powerful reminders that children do not learn best under pressure. They learn best when they are engaged, when they play, explore, move, talk, question, and experience joy in learning. I'm especially happy to see that many of these practices are low cost, locally adaptable, and rooted in our own context. This is very important for a state like Nagaland, where community knowledge, culture, and local resources are rich and meaningful. Our goal should not be to copy models, but to create contextually relevant and culturally grounded learning experiences. As we celebrate today, I would like to place one thought before all of us. Let this not remain a one-time event. Let this grow into a sustained movement across guides, across schools, and across communities. A movement where ECCE is understood not just by teachers, but by parents, communities, and all stakeholders. Because early childhood education is not the responsibility of one institution, it is a shared responsibility. If we can continue this momentum, this platform can evolve into a space for continuous innovation, professional dialogue, and collaborative learning. It can strengthen the partnership between schools and communities, ensuring that every child receives a nurturing, inclusive, and meaningful early learning experience. Before I conclude, let me leave you with a simple thought. If adults had even half of the energy of children, every meeting would feel like a festival. On this wonderful occasion, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the ECC SAIL, Ecce Nagaland, and to all the in-service teacher trainees of BFSE for this meaningful initiative. Your efforts are not just commendable, they are shaping the future. I wish this program great success and many more such inspiring initiatives in the years ahead. Thank you all. Wishing you a joyful, enriching, and memorable ECCE Day.
I would also like to congratulate and happy to see the in-service teachers having this enthusiasm in attending this program. I would like to thank the Department of SCRT for having me in this program in your list of the educators of SCRT, the curriculum developers, the education educators. It's such a privilege to be in your midst and experience your learning attributes. I was excited to be here today because it is also an opportunity that I've seen and experienced of how this learning and teaching and upbringing of our children, the efforts that the department and the teachers are putting into. In fact, I'm highly impressed and I appreciate the department for organizing such a well-developed program in equipping our teachers with all this learning, teaching techniques, tools, the methodologies. I would also like to acknowledge the ECC cell of CRT led by our senior lecturer, Vikatulu. I wish, and I would like to request all the ECC of this cell to please stand up and then show their face to our audience and let us give them a big applause. Thank you. This day, as we celebrate the ECC Day, it's a big reminder and then awakening all of us that early years of a child life is very crucial. That is this foundational stage of class A, B, 1, 2. It says that 85% of the brain development occurs at this stage, that is the foundational stage. Therefore, appropriate care is very essential to nurture, to build, to take care of our children at this stage. When I was informed that there is going to be a teacher training program of today, when it says teachers training program, the word teachers, what came to my mind was a classroom, a textbook, notebook, and the teachers giving, lectures, teaching, and the students, with the fearful attitude just right under the nose of a teacher, and the teacher, I just had this imagination, like the teacher walking around and then shouting, "Hey, keep quiet, study!" And then again the teacher, "Hey, who is talking?" Okay, that kind of, imagination I had when I was approached, for this program, but no, it's a big no. What I've come to learn through this very brief, of our program, I've come to know that these teachers are a very special teachers. They are a very special kind of teachers. They are the ones who takes extra effort, extra care nurturing our children. They are the ones who hold the hands of our children, teaching them how to write, how to read, clean them, making all efforts to make the child happy. Now, if we have, looked into so many of our childhood experiences also, we come across, some parents saying that it is because of that teacher my child got interested to study. Had it not been that teacher, my child would have not continued his or her studies. Because we come across the parents having tough time in consoling their children, refusing to go to school, their stubbornness, but it is the teachers who takes care of them, who makes their learning more interesting. Again, that makes them feel change, their way of their thinking and then the love for the school. So, my brief here has made me realize that these are very special kind of teachers. And what do they possess? I just came to learn through our, teachers sharing their experiences. It has given me to learn that, these are the kind of teachers who possess the passion and love for teaching. They care our children. oh, these are the teachers. They possess the empathy, the passion for, they don't mind, because taking care of such children at this foundational stage, they need to keep on repeating to make them understand. A person like me cannot. Once or twice is enough. I will not repeat it. And I would have been saying that. But I've learned, I've come to know that they are the ones who have this patience and empathy. It also gave me to realize that seeing all their activities that has just been screened out, the kind of, today's environment in this room, the entrance on the stairs, their presentations, everything, there is flexibility and creativity in them, making learning very interesting, joyful. Therefore, I consider these kind of teachers, they are the heroes, they are the future shapers and builders of our next generation. My appeal is that when you go back to your schools, instill in our students what you have gained, what you have with all these learning techniques, with all these learning methodologies, with all these skills that you have benefited from this training. Don't let it go in waste. I'm very confident, and I would like to share that if we instill this kind of teaching in our government schools, we will surely increase the students' enrollment in our schools, in our government schools. Why should the parents not have the first choice, the first priority of admitting their children to our schools? I think it's also a time for us to ponder today. A reminder for us today that, the parents should feel that their first choice should be the government schools, not having the, per se of that I didn't get my child's admission in the private school, so Opai Nai government school, they Divo, please let us not create this environment notion to the parents. And I believe and I trust in you all that we can make our schools much better than the private schools. We always speak of private schools, though we don't need to compare or compete with any private schools. If we are performing well, automatically people will love to come to our schools. Therefore, I think since this is the first move, the first step that has been taken, the enrollment, the increase of students' enrollment in our school will be a testimony. That will be the outcome of all these trainings and all that we have learned in imparting to our students. So please, I appeal to you all that instill all these training tools, knowledge to our students and increase our enrollment. Teachers training, it is an investment. The department is investing on teachers training. And when we invest in training our teachers, we are investing in our children's future. Therefore, even teachers should take this training seriously and never grumble of being nominated for attending trainings. The Department of School Education and SCRT is making all efforts to shift the system of education, focusing on competency-based education, training our teachers to go more deeper into understanding our children in building their potentials, having more connections with our students, the applications and real life connections. We believe that through this shift, our learning becomes more deeper, more meaningful, more relevant, and it is also that is applicable to the society, to the nation. If I may say that if we look into our education, a lot of news in the social media or in the papers, we hear very little or very less success of our schools. Though we have been emphasizing a lot on the development of the schools, I know there are so many challenges our teachers are facing, many challenges that our department is facing, but still the Department of School Education and SCRT is making all efforts to meet these challenges too. Therefore, I would like to request our teachers, you are all qualified teachers, you are in the field having experiences, to give us suggestions and recommendations so that it will enable us to strengthen our education system, policies and program holistic modules. So I also request the teachers to give your suggestions and your recommendations to the department. It is always, as the saying goes, that to be a teacher, learning can never be stopped. It is a continuous process. That's why, before I conclude, I would like to call each and every one of us to work together, to strive together, to bring students' holistic development, to make our schools and institutions learning of excellence, to keep the passion and love of teaching through such constant and enthusiastic learning. Thank you so much.
Just guiding and supporting us thus far, equipping us with skills crucial for educating 21st century learners, taking us to a point of realization that the real essence of teaching lies not in successful content delivery, but in knowing who our learners really are, identifying the potential, their strength, and areas they need support by engaging them in meaningful and playful activities, keeping in mind that early childhood care and education builds a foundation for lifelong learning. We feel truly privileged to be given an opportunity to undertake this course to enhance our professional capacities, for which we extend our sincere gratitude to all the stakeholders. Much like the cliche, change is the only constant, I would like to say that we, the trainees, we are the same individual, but we are no longer the same educators who attended the orientation program of DFSC in this very hall last year. We also have a short presentation, a documentation based on all that we have done so far, which we would like to present to you all. We hope that you will have a great time watching it. Thank you.
My name is Roslyn. I'm from SCRT department at ECC Cell. The purpose of organizing this program today is to showcase the importance of the foundational stage for our children, and also why learning has to be a lifelong practice for every individual. So this foundational stage is focused in equipping, in also capacitating the teachers, and through the teachers also giving awareness to the parents and to different stakeholders to invest in our children, so that we create a appropriate environment, an environment which will allow our children to have a lifelong learning abilities and learning curiosity in them. So I encourage every person to also reflect and to go back and to understand why this foundational stage is important and in what way we can invest them, and making sure that we as adults create good environment, appropriate environment, so that they can thrive and each child will be able to see their potentials in their lifetime. Thank you.
School Education and SCRT has taken this initiative of training our teachers to be equipped with the teaching techniques, the skills, and the teaching methodology. In fact, this kind of training, equipping our teachers, will also have the skill that this skill can only bring out the most potentials of our students. Therefore, we encourage our teachers, we appeal our teachers to also instill the trainings that they have gained from this institute to impart in their respective schools. And we also call upon our communities, the parents, that the government schools, the teachers are doing well, giving all effort in nurturing our students, not only in academic, but even in their personality development, in emotional, in social intelligence.
I'm very happy to be part of ECC Day celebration today at SCRT. I've been here, I've gone through all the stalls, and even in the celebration, it has brought a lot of childhood memories alive, and the government is trying its best to develop ECC, the curriculum, and also to bring interest in the mind of our young students. And therefore, we hope that in the days to come, our ECC cell will increase, and our teachers with their experience will improve the learning capabilities of our students. So I'm very happy that the teachers are doing their best, and our department will also do their best to bring the best, to draw the best in the students. Thank you. I think so, because this is the first of its kind. We are celebrating the first celebration this year. So even in the next session, we will try to improve. We will have a statewide celebration so that our advisors, our ministers, and dignitaries will be present.
Pleasure to be a part of this program, especially standing behind here in the mini museum. And I understand that as part of this ECC curriculum, Many schools and all schools will be having this. So the celebration of our culture at the early age and sharing our values is absolutely fundamental. Science knows that we have to inculcate our children with values. So in the early years of their childhood, what they hear, what they listen to, the behavior they emulate stays with them for a lifetime. And so this part of education becomes the most critical and important part of education. So it's amazing to see all the games, all the interactivities that's been exhibited here. I'm really, really touched by the sincerity of the teachers and the trainees and SCRT and the department as a whole. This is going to be a huge uplift for our state. I just have a small quote that I picked up. So I'll just share that on the screen. And it says, "Children are the arrows, not the archer's targets." And I think that's one thing that we need to remember, that in all that we do as educationists, that we focus and we are child-centric. And this ECCE curriculum and this day is really about that message. So huge congratulations to the team here, to SCRT and the department.
Boss, promotion दे दो ना. Okay, you are promoted.
ऐसे प्रमोशन मिलना इम्पॉसिबल है, पर पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी के ऑनलाइन MBA से प्रमोशन मिलना बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है।
घर कंस्ट्रक्ट करना भी इनिंग्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करने जैसा होता है। यू हैव टू वेदर एवरी स्टॉर्म। इसीलिए मुझे भरोसा है टॉप सेम सीमेंट पर। टॉप सेम सीमेंट, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा।
बॉस, प्रमोशन दे दो ना. Okay, you are promoted.
ऐसे प्रमोशन मिलना इम्पॉसिबल है, पर पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी के ऑनलाइन MBA से प्रमोशन मिलना बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है।
घर कंस्ट्रक्ट करना भी इनिंग्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करने जैसा होता है। यू हैव टू वेदर एवरी स्टॉर्म। इसीलिए मुझे भरोसा है टॉप सेम सीमेंट पर। टॉप सेम सीमेंट, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा।
ये मेरा प्लेसमेंट और ये पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी के टॉप प्लेसमेंट्स।
घर कंस्ट्रक्ट करना भी इनिंग्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करने जैसा होता है। यू हैव टू वेदर एवरी स्टॉर्म। इसीलिए मुझे भरोसा है टॉप सेम सीमेंट पर। टॉप सेम सीमेंट, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा।
ये मेरी पहचान है और ये पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी की पहचान है।
घर कंस्ट्रक्ट करना भी इनिंग्स कंस्ट्रक्ट करने जैसा होता है। यू हैव टू वेदर एवरी स्टॉर्म। इसीलिए मुझे भरोसा है टॉप सेम सीमेंट पर। टॉप सेम सीमेंट, मजबूती का भरोसा हमेशा।
तो बनो AI के असली गेम चेंजर्स। ज्वाइन कंप्यूटर साइंस एट पारुल यूनिवर्सिटी, क्योंकि यहाँ पॉसिबल है।
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapu viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.